Hey there guys, got another Borderlands 2 video for you today. This video is going to be a quick guide on how to solo and farm Hyperius the Invincible in under a minute if you're playing as Zer0. So this is actually going to be the second video in my raid boss series, and Hyperius the Invincible is actually found in the Scarlet and or Pirate Booty DLC. Now normally Hyperius is no joke of a boss fight, and he can actually be extremely difficult, especially if you're trying to take him out solo. However, if you're playing as Zer0 like I am, you can actually utilize a trick involving the skill Boar to take him out almost instantly. This really differs from the other boss fights in Ultimate Vault Hunter mode because they're mostly based around endurance battles. But as you're going to see here in a second, if you line up the minions just right for Zer0, this can actually be the quickest boss fight in all of Ultimate Vault Hunter mode. And down he goes. So that's basically the extent of the entire fight right there. So now I'm going to go ahead and explain basically how you set that all up. The first thing you want to do when you enter his arena is make sure you don't attack him, but rather run right up next to him. And as long as you don't attack him, he won't attack you. As soon as you run up and attack him, you're going to want to immediately back up and start throwing singularity grenades at his feet. This is going to group up his minions into a nice cluster around him. Then when you shoot through the multiple minions in front of him, Boar will stack the damage exponentially and hopefully allow you to nuke him down. As you might have noticed, sometimes it doesn't always want to work at first, and it does rely on a little bit of luck. But as long as you stick with the strategy and keep trying to line those minions up, it should eventually work and burst him down. And like I said, it can be very random sometimes. I've had runs where I've killed them almost instantly in about 20 seconds, and I've also had runs where it's taken 2 or 3 minutes where I've only had one minion left to line up the shot with. And down he goes again. The final important part of this fight that I'm going to go over is having the correct type of gear. The first piece is your weapon, and for this fight I'm going to be using an Unkempt Herald, and this is basically to provide a lot of projectiles to increase your chance of getting the Boar effect. If you don't have an Unkempt Herald, I suppose it's possible to use an alternative weapon with a lot of projectiles, like the Sandhawk or the Pitchfork, although personally I haven't tested this out. The second key piece of gear you're going to need is obviously going to be singularity grenades. You don't actually need the legendary Quasar grenades like the ones shown here, as any singularity grenades will do. For example, in the first clip I was actually using a white grenade mod that I randomly found on the way to the Hyperius. The last piece of gear you're going to need for this fight is just basically a strong enough shield to survive 2 direct hits from Hyperius' Nova effect. He does this right when you start the fight and the damage is unavoidable. You can see which shield I was using for this fight, but for you guys I would recommend picking the tankiest shield you have on you and seeing if that allows you to survive his Novas. When you do finally bring him down, you might notice that some of his minions linger after the fight. I normally just ignore these guys as they kinda just stand around and do nothing for a while. However, if you really do want to take them out, I'd recommend switching over to the B shield and the Sandhawk, as they take little to no damage otherwise. So that pretty much wraps up how I quickly farm Hyperius. One of the nice things about this fight is that if you do manage to defeat him, you can just run out and re-enter the area to respawn Hyperius without having to pay the Eridium again. So real quick, I just want to thank you guys for watching, and if you subscribe, like, or leave me a comment, it would be greatly appreciated. Next up, we have Master Guy the Invincible.